Yes, okay.
Hello, everyone. It's Saturday night again in Australia, at least. And I've got some very special guests tonight, but I want to introduce myself first. I am Ruth Stuettgen. I'm the host and producer of Inspired Woman TV. I'm based in Australia. Sorry about the background noise. A motorbike just went past. And I just want to welcome you to the show again. Inspired Woman TV was brought to life to give women leaders, women in business, the platform to inspire and educate and empower others through their wisdom. And it's happening all around the world. So I'm very excited tonight, especially to welcome to the show a very good and dear friend of mine and a co-author, Andrea Maynard-Brade. Say hi, Andrea.
Hi.
Good, sounds okay. And her friend and editor, Maureen Worrell. Hi, Maureen.
Morning, hi.
So, Andrea, so Maureen, you can hear, is saying good morning. I'm saying good evening. And Andrea is saying good early morning.
Morning.
You are right on. You are actually the earliest of all of us. So,
Yes.
Andrea is actually calling in from Barbados. And Maureen is calling in from the UK, and I am in Australia. So I want to welcome you ladies to the show. Thank you so much for coming on to the Saturday Night Live with us. So we are a threesome tonight. Normally it's with two people or just with myself and one other person. So I'm very excited to welcome you to the show. So I'm going to, who wanted to go first? Did we say?
I don't mind. I can go first.
Okay, Andrea. So I'm going to read a little bit about what Andrea stands for, what she does, and then I will introduce Maureen, and we'll just have a little bit of a conversation for the next half an hour or so, okay? So Andrea Maynard-Brade, she's a multi-talented and knowledgeable businesswoman who was born in the UK in the 60s to Barbadian parents. She's led a very busy and purposeful life wherein she works with vulnerable and abused women by providing them with resources and forums to build their confidence and self-esteem, as well as offering support for their health and well-being. And her professional journey has seen her holding various leadership roles within the social, health, education, housing, and voluntary sectors. And these positions have taken her through numerous parts of the West Midlands in England. And she has and continues to spend a great portion of her time contributing to community development and health awareness. And Andrea, being a victim of abuse, is aware of the devastating effects that abuse victims undergo, and as such is very committed to providing support and assistance to other victims in a most practical way. And Andrea's main interests includes, but aren't limited to, interior designing, event planning, facilitating healthy lifestyle, traveling, gardening, and reading. And I think you're also a designer because you design your own clothes, right?
Yes, I do.
Or fabric. And I think I've seen the beautiful
Some of the
fabric and what
styles
you're
I
wearing,
like.
I think. Yeah. So she's the founder and director of Positive Moves Holistic Therapy and Training and Embrace Health and Wellbeing, as well as Kamjasara, an interior and designing company that decorates venues for parties, weddings, and funerals. In addition, she's a trained master health coach, holistic therapist, Reiki master, and co-founder of Black Women in Business, and she's an author. I'm not going to be talking much more about you, Andrea, because I'll let you do all the talking, okay? So before I introduce Maureen, Andrea, what is your power word? What is a couple of words that come to mind right now whilst we're sitting here?
My power words are unstoppable. That's one of my power words because I just feel that no matter what you do, you've got to keep going. So just be, you know, unstoppable, really. Um, Also, one of my words that I know people really know me by, your health is your wealth, because I'm
Mm,
very much into health
yeah.
and wealth. And what I try to support my women with and train them to do is always look after your health, no matter what you're going through, you know. So I know a lot of people go through depression, you know, especially when you're suffering with domestic abuse. You tend to go through a lot of depression and emotional turmoil. And with the trauma, I always say, you know, get up, shake off, and start again, and go for a walk or do something, you know. And yes, you can lie in your bed for a while and, you know, sort of convalesce with yourself. But
Yeah, you
I
do
always
need to
say,
do that, don't you?
I always say,
Yeah,
try and get up and do something physically with yourself.
yeah,
So yeah, your health is your wealth. That's one of
yeah.
them as well.
Wonderful. So unstoppable, right? Great.
Yeah, I'm
So
unstoppable.
let's go to Maureen. Hello, Maureen. And this is the
Hello.
first time I'm meeting you today.
Yes,
So
yes, yes. Thank you
I
so
feel
much
like
for
I've known
inviting
you for a long time. So thank you for coming
me.
onto
My
the
pleasure.
show. And so Maureen, she is also known as Ja, sister.
Yes.
Ah, she was born in Erith, Kent, in the early 60s to parents who had emigrated to the UK from Jamaica in the West Indies. And her early childhood and adult years were dominated by childhood domestic violence and childhood sexual abuse, an unfortunate and horrendous life experience that has impacted her life to this day. And as a direct result of her experiences, Maureen also endured and overcame bouts of depression, suicidal thoughts and attempts, self harming, eating disorders, rapes, and a lifetime spent coping with triggering incidences. Maureen is a proud mother of two beautiful adult children, Vanessa and Jamal, and a very proud grandmother to two wonderful grandsons. She doesn't look that old, but I think, Andrea, you'd have grandchildren too, right?
Yeah, I've got 9.
Oh my,
Oh, gosh, I
what?
didn't expect that much.
That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
three children,
Are
nine,
they rabbits or what?
six boys and 2 girls. Yeah.
Wow,
Wow.
amazing. Maureen is an ambassador and senior peer practitioner and CBT counselor for Free Your Mind, CIC Mental Health. This is a charity organization founded and run by Natasha Benjamin. She's the multiple award-winning author, and her first published book, The Journey of I and I, has sold thousands globally and, more importantly, has helped hundreds of readers to know that they are not alone, and her beautifully written words of survival and hope has inspired many others around the world to find their own personal courage to speak out and to no longer be living in fearful and debilitating silence. She is she's soon to publish her second book, The Definition of I and I. Wow. And she's a multiple award-winning counselor and specializes in long-term impact of childhood trauma into adulthood depression, suicidal thoughts, and emotional and mental well-being. She is also an award-winning book manuscript editor and wow. Sorry, girls.
Long word.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's tongue in the cheeks.
Autobiographical, that's
Yeah.
it, writer, and offers a unique and bespoke service to assist others to write their personal stories with the aim of having their books published. So there you go. I'm honored to be with you tonight, morning,
So
evening, and let's talk. Maureen, what is your power color?
my power color is
Yes,
purple.
purple.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that?
Um, one, I like the color, and it's like a calming effect on me. Um, and every time, like I go to like, if I'm in the low mood, when I put
Yeah.
on purple, something in me just like lifts my spirits.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's always been my favorite color from a small child.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, yeah, it's never
Mm,
changed actually.
perfect. Lovely. And do you have someone that you look up to, Maureen?
My mum and dad actually. Um, Despite everything like what our childhood was like, and you touched on that a minute ago. Um, in the past few years, especially the past 6 years, I would say, the way my mum and dad has embraced my journey, they've not shied away from it. They've healed themselves. And to me, everything I went through with the book, the writing of the book and everything, that alone was worth it for me.
Yeah.
And to hear my dad after, oh God, after so many years, 4, 5, 6 years ago, say to my mum, I'm sorry. That meant the world to me.
That's amazing. That
Yeah.
is so amazing. I think forgiving is such a humbling and powerful
Exactly.
thing to be able to allow you to move forward, right?
You know, even like when everything was going on within the household, there was always that thing that you could see they were in love. You know, whatever caused him to be the way he was, there was that bond was never broken. And to see them now, they're like a courting couple, which they've always been. We used to tease them all the time, you know. But yeah, to see my mum have peace of mind as well, you know, that my dad acknowledged what he put us through.
That's
that
amazing.
was a beautiful moment. I'll never forget it.
That's really amazing. Yeah. You ladies, you're inspiring. You've done so much. And here I think I've done a lot, but compared to what you guys have done. So you can decide who. I'm going to throw the question into the air and into cyberspace, and whoever picks it up first, you can actually let's play a little bit of a game. You know, the game shows where they go bzzzt. I want you to do that, okay? So when I ask a question, it goes like bzzzt, and whoever goes first get to answer the question. How does that sound?
Okay.
Okay. First question. What's the most stupid thing that you've ever done?
Oh my gosh.
The answer is bzzzt, yeah?
I'm trying to
to go first.
You really threw that one in the spanner.
Exactly.
Anything I've ever done? Oh my gosh.
Actually, I don't know if it's stupid.
Oh,
sorry. I don't know if I would say it's stupid, but the thing that comes to mind is when my first book came out and the very first event I attended, just as a guest, I wasn't speaking or anything, but the person who was doing it said, "Oh, bring your book along and let people know that you've had your book published." And this was the very first public thing I did. I remember going there with my daughter in central London. And somebody saw the book in my hand and said to me, "Oh, is that about your life story?" And my immediate reaction was no, but it was.
Yeah.
And my daughter was like, "Mom, why did you say that?" You know, I think it was part of my healing process. I hadn't reached that
Right.
stage where I told my story, even though it was in black and white, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just remember that when you said that. So yeah, but me and my daughter laugh about that now, you know.
It's funny, isn't it? Sometimes you say exactly the opposite of what you really want to say, right? Okay, so Andrea, tell me a bit about yourself.
Myself.
What's important in your life?
Where do I start? Well, I was, as I said, born to Barbadian parents. I had 4 brothers, 4 sisters. One of my brothers had passed away about 10 years ago, age 40. So I now have, obviously, there's 5 girls left and the 4 boys. My mum had the 4 girls first, and then my brothers came after, and then I've got a little sister. Well, she's not that little now, she's in her 40s. You know, our life growing up, you know, it was fun, but then we had my dad, who was very abusive towards my mom, really. And, you know, we kind of went through that childhood trauma, put it that way. And anything we did wrong in those days, you know, you get a good beating for it, you know. So there was always that fear where my dad was concerned. But my mom, she was always very light-minded and easy to get on with. So when my dad was at work, we'd have a lot of fun, you know. But as soon as my dad was coming home, it's like, oh, sit down, be quiet, sort of thing, you know. Yeah, you know, because he was very strict. As I grew up in my teens, I was very sporty, always loved sports and stuff like that. And then I started dancing for an African group called Kakuma. Um, we were the founders, really. It was a different name before, and then it was changed to Kakuma. So I used to do African dancing when I was about 16. After that, then when I met my children's father, I was 18, then I got pregnant very, like, very soon after I met him. So then I was sort of really fearful because I'm thinking, God, what's my dad going to do? Because prior to that, my sister had twins and she had twins at 16. And the way my dad went on, it was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go through that. So the first thing I thought, I'm gonna plan my exit and leave before he even knows. So I did, and went and moved in quite quickly with the children's father. And then I suffered really 13 years of abuse in that relationship. Eventually when I got out of that relationship, I had a bit of time for myself and stuff like that. And then I had to start finding myself, where I did a lot of reading with like Yolanda Van Zandt, and I used to watch Oprah a lot and stuff like that. Anything to help me heal. Try to do a bit of meditation and stuff, because I always felt like I've got 3 children I've got to look after, and I just didn't want to fail them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then my 4th child. Then I was pregnant with my 4th child. Still at that time I was with the dad, and then I ended up having a stillborn child, and devastating at the time. But I just felt, again, this trying to be strong. I had 3 children I had to look after, so I had to try and keep my head, and just get on with it. I started obviously looking after my children till they were a certain age, and then I started going out looking about myself and career. So I was doing a business studies course when I got pregnant with my son, and then when I had my 3 children, after that I went back and did the A-level standard of it. And then it was from there, I just always wanted to study, then always tried different things, started working with social services, and I did occupational therapy. I did a lot of kind of work, worked in housing, homelessness, and then I got into the field with domestic abuse, because that's what my passion was always, really, to work with women. And then from then I went on and set up Embrace Health and Wellbeing, CIC, where I ran my own workshops, did a few retreats, and that was all about health and well-being and raising awareness around domestic abuse. So that's part of the journey.
So looking back on your journey now, what would you if you knew back then that what would you be able to tell yourself right now with what you know now? What would you tell yourself, your young self?
Well, with what I know now, well, when I was younger, anyway, my thoughts was, I knew I wanted a career. And one of my careers, I wanted to go in the Navy because I wanted to travel. And I always felt like that night when I went out to dance, we had a dance event and it was running really late. And my dad had a thing about, you got to get in by a certain time. And I didn't get in at that time. So the door was locked. So because the door was locked, I couldn't get in. So I went, and that's the first night I went and stayed with the children's father. And I always felt like, if I wasn't locked out that night, would that ever have happened? You understand what I'm saying? But like I said, we can't turn the clock back. But I would, I know really I wanted to have my career before I had my children and do more with my life. But still, having my children never stopped me from doing what I needed to do. But maybe I wouldn't have had a child so early. I wanted, obviously, to have time for myself. But you can have it either or either. You have your children early, but then by the time I was in my 30s, my children were big, and so I could travel and do other things. I was freer.
That's what I always think too. That's what I always think.
Either or either.
Whether you have your kids young or not.
Yeah, so like my son's 40 now, so then my daughters are 36, 38. So they've got their own children living their lives, but we're still a close family. Believe it or not, we actually live next door to each other. But yeah,
Amazing. It's really awesome.
so in a little cul-de-sac, and Barbados here, I live next door to my eldest sister, and then we've got another family house that we're building here as well.
Beautiful.
So, we've got the Maynard close, and then in England we've got Camilla's close. And my daughter, that's named Camilla, doesn't actually live on that close. She just lives through the gap. But I like to keep my family close. I'm very family
And that's
orientated like that.
very, I
And
think
that's
family is
important to
high.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, very important to me. And that's why I always feel like I always have that passion to help others, because I just feel that I remember what I went through and there was no help for me. I just felt there was no help. And then eventually I did go in a hostel when I wanted to leave the dad. But it wasn't a nice place. I wanted to stay, but I had to sleep there to enable me to gain housing for myself. And so I used to sleep there in the morning, get up and go to a friend and stay there all day. But now you get a lot more help and support with the hostels and
Yeah.
outreach and stuff like that. But a lot of that wasn't around some years ago. Yeah, and I just felt like learning and just evolving myself. And, I never stopped learning. I always like doing stuff, and like, I'm very creative, so I still have that feel of doing design and stuff like that as well. Because, you can do your hard things, but it's always good to do a nice thing, that will still gain some income as well, which is nice. Yeah, so yeah,
Thank
that's a bit
you.
about it. Yeah.
Did you want to, Maureen, what about you? Thank you, Andrea.
Okay.
It's lovely to learn more about you. When you were down here, for the book launch and you were traveling, we were just so busy. So we really never had time to,
Yeah,
we'll have to
it's a
catch
deep
up.
conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Maureen, what about you? What gets you out of bed in the morning?
Oh, my passion for writing, I think,
Writing.
and helping other people
Yeah.
to follow a process what I've created so that their voices can be heard through their written word.
Yeah.
I can set up my typewriting to type 24/7.
Really?
Yeah, I just love writing. I've always loved writing.
And do you do that? Do you allow yourself to do that?
Sorry.
Do you allow yourself to just go with the flow and allow yourself to just spend time writing all the time, not worrying about anything or anybody?
No, I don't write all the time.
Hey, that question was for Maureen.
Oh, I thought you meant me. Go ahead. Sorry.
Push through, Maureen. Do it. Come on. All the way from the UK.
not all the time, but if I haven't done it for like 2 days, it's almost like I get withdrawal symptoms.
Really?
But I definitely make time to do it because it's what I love doing. It's a passion I've got. And if I'm not writing for myself, I love writing and helping other people to do the same, which is like the premise of my business, really. So I teach people how to edit their work, how to get the most out of what they want to put on paper, with the end goal being to produce a book to be published. And maybe later on, Andrea can mention, like, we've worked on that and her book is due out soon. So that process, what I take my clients through, yeah, it's just like, I just love watching from when they started, the way they blossom through the journey of writing and revealing and owning their story, standing in their own truth, to be honest. Because some of them find it hard to verbalize what they've been through. So, and I was like that.
Yeah.
I mean, even now talking today, it's not like I wouldn't say it's like a difficult thing for me, but I'm more comfortable writing and speaking. But I think over the years I've grown and I'm learning to do more and more in different ways. But writing, I can't even put it into words, funny enough, how passionate I am about it. When I was small and I was going through the abuse, what I mentioned before, that was my safe place. I used to sit in the corner and write short stories.
Really?
Yeah. At the age of 3. My mum said I could read at the age of 2.
At the age of 3 and 2, that's incredible.
At the age of 2.5.
Mm.
She teased me and said I used to write like an adult, like squiggly writing joined up.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was my passion. That was my like sanctuary. That was my go-to place. You know, where I felt safe, where I felt I could just be me. You know,
that is amazing.
And it's never wavered. It's never lessened. Yeah. That's what makes me out of bed, knowing that I'm going to do some kind of writing.
Yeah. So when did you publish your first works?
My first book came out. It's called The Journey of Our Night. That was published in 2014.
Yeah.
Took me 12 weeks to write and edit the book.
12 weeks, yeah. Okay.
That's sorry?
That's probably not long in the big scheme of things. Because some people take years, yeah?
Yeah.
Or some people take a lifetime.
Yeah.
Pardon?
It's a 450-page book.
Yes.
And that took me 12 weeks to write. Because once I made up my mind that this is what I'm going to do, I just disciplined myself. I sat down at my typewriter like 12 hours a day, sometimes 15 hours a day, but it actually felt like an hour to me. And I just did what I needed to do, because it was time for me to be me, you know, reveal my voice, and so that I could, because I was looking for inner peace, you know, and this is the way that I found it. Yeah.
I can actually feel where your passion and your peace shining through when you're talking about that. It's amazing, isn't it? I don't know about you, Andrea, because I just felt the need to be just silent then. And it was, you know, almost as if we were in the same room, which we are. We're in the same Zoom room. But it's incredible how energy can travel across thousands and thousands of kilometers, which we are right now. And I can just hear it and feel it.
And even like the experience I went through actually with writing and getting my book published, for me it was a wonderful experience, but there were certain aspects, because it's like a personal story, there were certain aspects where I found myself feeling triggered. I'd have to stop writing for a week, just to like get through that triggering period. And for me, it was like spiraling down into a bit of a depression. But because I recognised that I knew how to cope with that. So my way of coping was to just step back for a week, maybe, and then see. So that was the catalyst really for me thinking of and creating the business I'm in now, because I didn't want my writers or other people to go through that alone. You know, I wanted them to have that support from somebody who'd been there, who experienced it, who knew it, who had compassion for what they're going through. And I hope that my clients feel that. And from the feedback I'm getting, it's exactly what they needed. So I'm totally passionate about it. I'm not embarrassed to say it. I'm just like, you know, Angela will tell you.
Well, I can actually say that as being one of your clients, that Maureen does walk you through it, and she knows I've been on this journey from 2016 trying to do my full book. And as I said, she's very passionate with what she does. And, you know, when you've got that caring soul around you, and no matter you going through your good days or your bad days, there's always that gentle word or that word of encouragement, you know, that makes you think you're not giving up. Come on, you got to do this. And even for Maureen's sake, you're going to finish it, you know, because you can see the, you know, she feels your journey, you know, and like you just said, Ruth, you could feel Maureen, you know what I mean? And that's what I felt, because I remember, as I said to her sometime when I was actually looking for an editor, I found it very hard thinking, well, who's going to edit my book? And approached certain people, but I kept seeing Maureen's name, Maureen, and there was something that just, my spirit was just drawn to her. And I sort of said yes, and then I rested it down, and then we picked it back up, and then that was it. We just went all the way. And the book's now due to be published in the next couple of weeks, isn't it? So I'm gonna thank Maureen for that, actually, because, you know, she's that sort of person that's really good to walk with you when you're going through that process, you know.
Yeah.
And I commend you and I thank you.
Oh, it's been my privilege. And it's also like an healing journey for the people, you know, for clients as well. Because part of the package includes support, it includes counselling, you know.
Yes.
That would be, that's an awesome you know, the connection and how it fits together, because you are a counselor and you can lead them through that and work with them on trauma and things like that. That's really special.
That's why I was so determined to combine my passion and my purpose in life, if you like. And this is what I've created now. So, and
then it doesn't feel like work for you, does it?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
All of that.
Sometimes Andrea used to say to me, haven't you slept? And I said, no, I've been working on your book. You know?
Oh, that's amazing. Love it, love it. So tell me about your book, Andrea.
Oh, well, my book is called Suffering in Silence. And it's really about moving, taking the traveling really from a victim to become victorious. And it starts really from my childhood trauma. And the journey goes through to the abuse with my children's father, to losing my baby, to having my illness where I nearly died, you know, and then really transforming myself into who I am now, without carrying too much of that trauma in emotions with me, if you get what I'm saying. You know, yes, we do all have our moments, but I try to put that on the back burner and just try to look forward and look, you know, and just embrace my future.
You
know, it was also about really seeing my mom go through abuse. I went through it, my daughter went through it, and I also wanted to know that in my book, it's also got self-help questions for you to actually help yourself. You know, like you can journal yourself through what I'm actually saying in the book. So each chapter you can actually, as a journal, and answer questions for yourself to help yourself to heal. And I also looked at, I wanted to just break the cycle, this generational curse, this generational cycle of abuse need to stop.
Incredible, right? And the
that's what I thought. And you know, obviously we had to do this so I can help other women as well heal and let them realize they're not alone, you know. And also, as I said, to hear I want them to speak their truth. I want them to hear their voices without no one having to, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? Just judgmental of what they're doing, what they've been through, because that's their journey, that's their truth, that's their life. And I just wanted that to resonate through the book, you know. I know a lot of people can see me and know me and think, oh my God, I can't believe Andrea Maynard actually went through all of that, because if you see me, you'd never think I'd, you know me, you'd never think I'd went through that, because of the way, you know, because the way you carry yourself and the way you are, people always think you weren't suffering or never suffered. But a lot of us have, but we put on these masks and we have this smile.
You know, true.
True. We need to take the mask off and just be true to ourselves. And and hopefully my book will help heal a lot of women throughout the world.
Sounds like a really amazing read. When it does come out, I'll read it, definitely. It's such an important contribution too, right? And to your family as well. It's incredible how it can go through generation and generation, and how can we actually heal that? I know in my journey it's similar. You know, I've been through abuse as well, domestic abuse and or family violence. However, you kind of hope that it's not going to happen to your children.
Yes.
How do we do that, right? And it's that's the really important question, and how we can actually heal the families, and then, you know, your own family core unit, and then let that spread out to your community and then to the world, because it's going on all over, and it's such a sad thing to be happening even in this day and age, right?
And also as well with your boys, your children, because when your boys are growing up and seeing their fathers behaving that way, it becomes learnt behavior. And a lot of these boys end up doing the same thing as their fathers. And that was another part I had to write in the book about my son, because I didn't want my son mirroring his father, you know. So I left that relationship. I think he was 9 then. The children were 9, 7, 9, 7 and 5.
And they would have seen enough already,
No,
wouldn't they? Because
no, 13. No,
yes.
he was 13. He was 13 when I left. So
Yeah.
he would have seen, yeah,
Oh,
he was
yeah.
13. And, you know, he's grown up to be a nice young man. He doesn't behave so much like his father, but, you know, sometimes those tendencies are there and I'll go, you know, but not
Yeah.
violent where he's
You just
punching
gotta,
someone or strangling, you know,
you just gotta
a
kind of
woman or anything.
pray
Yeah,
and hope that
that's it.
those kind of tendencies are controllable, you know, and that are healable, if that's the word, and that we can heal it, that we can control it, that we don't pass it on to the next generation, because we are teaching our kids. And I think by us, especially women, speaking up through writing and talking about it and working, helping others, it's already a step in the right direction, because we are standing up for that we don't need to be treated, or we don't want to be treated in that way. And if we can, you know, pass it down into the generations, but also on the upgoing side, if you can call it that, that, you know, in government departments and all those kind of departments, the hierarchy, the important thing is that they don't show that. And when you look at what's happening around the world,
Yes.
it's happening, and or on the screens, you know. So
Well, look at a lot of these famous people now that we've known for years that's been abusing women for years, and they've just got away with it, you know. So all these years, these women have been, like my book, suffering in silence, and you know, and that's what, when you see these things highlighted, that yes, even the wealthy and the very rich,
yeah,
they're doing the same thing, you know, and they were getting away with it, you know, and that's why our
never,
voices need to be heard.
never in Wilton, you know.
say that again, Maureen.
That people that get away with it because it's always been such a taboo subject.
Yeah.
And now that we're speaking more, it's like mental health, isn't it? It's becoming more and more aware.
Yeah. And I think it's still happening way too often. It still continues, even though we are shining a light on it. It still continues way too much, and because people are getting away with it, and people in power are getting away with it, and until that is stopped, and at the same time that those people are stopped there, but we are teaching our generations to follow, our kids. And through just the way we talk and act, because, you know, what are we showing if we tell our kids in an abusive way not to say things or say things in a certain way? We are doing exactly that, you know.
And this is sorry to cut you, because you're talking about that kind of thing. This is like, can I just read like two?
Yes, please
put
do.
this on the first page of my second book.
Yes, please.
Because it relates to what you and Andrea are speaking about. So in my second book, this is like the very first thing I've written. When the truth is finally verbalized and recognized, it is then that victims and survivors can begin their recovery and healing journeys. Far too often, secrecy prevails in such a negative manner, and it is then that our stories of devastating trauma reveals itself, not as a shared spoken account, but rather as a negative, impactful symptom. Perpetrators, abusers, rapists cannot live with the truth. Survivors cannot live without it. We, as the present generation, must be willing and courageous enough to face these issues head on, and in order to protect that part of us which is scarred and traumatized, and more so for our future generations. So that's the message.
Yes, that's it in a nutshell, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. I think we've got a very important role to play this generation.
We do.
And
understanding that children, no matter how young they are, they absorb everything negative, everything.
Definitely. And I think it happens in the womb already. I mean, you know, that the emotions that we carry as a woman, and the voices that they hear, the sounds that they hear, you know, it carries through.
Yes, it does.
And they
it's all about vibrations and energy, isn't it?
Pardon?
It's all about vibrations and energy.
Yeah, that's right. And it comes through, you know, from the minute they're born, and and then, you know, we think that they don't understand anything, but it's the energy that they get from it as well.
Yeah, that's right. But you know, a child can hear what's going on from there in the womb. I remember years ago reading this book. I can't remember the title, but you know, they can hear mom and dad from their growing in that mom's tummy, and you know, they can hear their mom, they can hear their dad, and they've learned that as well. Even as you said, before they're born, and then from 0 to 5, what they've learned there, it's you know, it's got to be one of love and caring, and you know, giving positive, you know, vibrations and positive messages to the child. As Maureen says, the negativity, they hold that negativity. You understand? Because it's they do. They hold the negativity. Yeah.
You ladies are doing incredible.
Subconscious, isn't it? Yeah.
Andrea, have you got a paragraph that you would like to shine a light on in your readings, or have you not got it with you?
Oh my gosh! I haven't. I haven't really got it with me because I haven't got that. I haven't got that.
Just in one minute or 30 seconds. What was the experience like for you writing the book?
My experience,
I'm
emotional, you know, I was up and down emotionally. At one point I wanted to write it, then I didn't, because I felt like I didn't want to write it. You know, my dad's still alive, and you know, I'm thinking, oh my God, how is he gonna feel when he knows I've written this book, and you know, bitches about him. But you know, it was mainly I had to do it because what my mom went through, what I went through, what my daughter went through, and I don't want my granddaughters going through this. I've got to break that cycle, and I'll try and find any way I can to break that cycle, to stop this abuse. You know.
Perfect. Yeah, it's wonderful. Very important work. So, any wisdom that you ladies like to share, and then we'll close off.
I always say, really, no matter what you're going through, as I said before, your health is your wealth. Yes, but always put God first, but always look after your health. You know, I want the women to find their voices and speak their truth and to live their best lives. And I want all women to be happy.
Perfect.
I mean, I live by the mantra, I've said this from day one, set peace of mind as your goal and work towards achieving that goal on a daily basis. I literally tell myself that every day, several times a day.
Yeah.
Lovely. I would like you to after, underneath in the chat box of our live on the Facebook page of Inspired Woman TV, are you able to do me a favor and share that your wisdom, that that you can write that into the chat box? That would be lovely.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be really nice for people to just be able to read it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you for getting up so early, both of you. I mean, it's not as early in the UK, but it's still fairly early for a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And I want to wish you a great weekend and good luck with the book.
Thank you.
I'd like to know
Yes, I will send you the link as soon as it's
Yes,
definitely.
and I'd like to, just to look, maybe to have a chat at some point again
Yes.
about other things, other aspects of your work, because you're doing an amazing job. Both of you, you've got such important work that you're doing, and I want to find out more. I want to shine a light on that more, and I want to encourage you to keep going, because sometimes we think that it's, there's enough of that out there in the world, that there's so many people doing the exactly the same work. So why should you bother? Because, but if you think of how many people are on this planet, and you all have your goal. We're here, I believe deeply that God's given us a purpose, and he's got a plan for us, and we are here to inspire and help certain people on this planet. We don't need to help everybody. So once you've found that passion and your duty and your job, to just keep moving towards it, and those people that are meant to learn from you, and the ones that you are meant to learn from, because it's a two-way thing, will pop out, right? They will come towards you. They will find their way towards you. You will find their way towards you. So I want to thank you and commend you for that. Okay.
And yes, and you can also look out for with Maureen and I are now doing some work together with a group of women, which we call Surviving Queens. So you can look out for that anthology. So nearer to the time, hopefully we will speak further on that.
Definitely.
So
where can sorry, Andrea, to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Yeah, would love to find out some more about that. So keep us in the loop. You can post it on the Inspired Woman TV page. Feel free to post on there. And I also have an Inspired Woman's Business page as well, and a group, Inspired Woman's Business, if you want to join, and you're welcome to use that platform to share with us what you are doing. So I'm going to close off now. Before we do that, Andrea, where can people reach out to you if they want to find out more about what you do, if they want to have a conversation with you about something?
Well, I'm on Facebook, and I'm also on my email. You can get me on the embracehw@gmail.com, and also you can just get me on my I've got obviously my phone, but most people can get me on that. But I will put it on your site as well. The links. Obviously I'm on Twitter and Instagram and all that as well. But we'll just leave those links. So hopefully that other people can get in contact with myself.
Wonderful. Thank you. What about you, Maureen?
Yeah, similar. People can contact me via email, mrnworrell@yahoo.co.uk. Various social media links, I'll also put those up. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, ladies. I'm going to end this show, the Inspired Woman TV with Ruth Stuettgen, this Saturday Night Live. And this evening we were speaking to Andrea Maynard-Brade from the UK / at the moment, Barbados. And also Maureen Worrell from the UK. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching the live, thank you for watching it, and please join us for the next one. This is Inspired Woman TV. Your host, my name is Ruth Stuettgen, and we'll catch you on the other side. Be
you so much, Ruth.
powerful and love you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth.
Bye. I'm going
Bye-bye.
to end the live now. Okay.
Okay.
Bye for now.